The words came out so casually that Steve Harvey almost missed the significance of what had just been said. Actually, I'm Amanda, and she's Ashley. It seemed like a simple correction, the kind of mix-up that happens with twins all the time, except 26-year-old Ashley Johnson had just spent 3 rounds of Family Feud introducing herself as Ashley. Now she was saying she was actually Amanda, and the look of panic that flashed across her twin sister's face suggested this wasn't just a case of mistaken identity. This was something much more complicated, much more dangerous, and much more desperate. It started as another Tuesday afternoon taping in Atlanta. The Johnson family from Denver faced off against the Williams family from Phoenix. The Johnson twins were exactly the kind of contestants producers loved. Identical in almost every way, with the same bright smile, the same shoulder-length blonde hair, the same quick wit that made for great television. But there was something about their dynamic that caught Steve Harvey's attention immediately. While most twins he'd met over the years played up their similarities, these two seemed almost careful about maintaining their separate identities. Ashley, who had introduced herself first, spoke with confidence and looked directly at the cameras. Amanda seemed more reserved, constantly glancing around the studio as if checking for exits. During family introductions, Steve had been immediately charmed by their twin dynamic. "And who do we have here?" Steve had asked, approaching their podium with his trademark warmth. "I'm Ashley Johnson, and this is my twin sister, Amanda. We're from Denver, Colorado." Ashley and Amanda, identical twins. I love it. "Can people tell you apart?" Ashley had laughed easily. "Most people can't, but we're actually pretty different when you get to know us." Amanda had nodded but said nothing, her eyes darting nervously around the studio. "Amanda, you're the quiet one?" Steve had asked gently. "She's always been shy," Ashley had answered quickly before Amanda could respond. "I do most of the talking for both of us." It was a sweet sisterly dynamic, or so it seemed. Now, 3 rounds into the game, that moment was about to explode into something that would reveal just how far one sister would go to protect another. The Johnson family was doing well, leading by 15 points heading into the 4th round. Steve was in his element, making jokes about Grandmother Johnson's surprisingly competitive spirit and Uncle Mike's tendency to give answers that made no sense but somehow ended up on the board. The category was Things People Do to Help Family. It was Ashley's turn at the podium. She had stepped forward with the same confidence she'd shown all day, but there was something different about her posture now. She looked exhausted, like someone who had been carrying a heavy weight for a very long time. "All right, Ashley, things people do to help family. What do you think?"
Ashley gripped the podium, her knuckles white against the dark wood.
"Take their place," she answered, her voice strong but carrying an undertone that made Steve pause. The answer was number 2 on the board, worth 16 points. The Johnson family celebrated, but Ashley hadn't moved from the microphone. She was staring at Amanda with an expression that carried years of shared secrets. "Ashley," Steve said, approaching the podium, "take their place." That's a pretty specific accent. You speaking from experience. That's when it happened. Ashley looked directly at Steve, then at Amanda, then back at Steve. When she spoke, her voice carried the exhaustion of someone who had been living a lie for years. "Mr. Harvey, I need to tell you something. Actually, I'm Amanda, and she's Ashley." The studio fell into confused silence. Several audience members looked around, trying to understand what had just been said. Steve's smile faded. "I'm sorry, what now?" "My name is Amanda Johnson. I've been pretending to be Ashley for 5 years." The woman Steve had known as Amanda stepped forward, her face pale with panic. "Ashley, what are you doing?" she whispered urgently. "No," Ashley said firmly. "I'm Amanda, you're Ashley, and I'm tired of living your life." The studio audience was beginning to murmur with confusion. Steve Harvey had witnessed countless unexpected moments over his career, but this was something entirely new. "Ladies, I'm going to need you to help me understand what's happening here." Amanda, who had been calling herself Ashley, looked around the studio with growing desperation. "We should go. We should leave right now." But Ashley, who had been calling herself Amanda, shook her head. No, Ashley. I'm done running. I'm done pretending to be you. Steve held up his hand for quiet. The studio fell silent.
Okay, let me see if I understand this. You, he pointed to the woman who had introduced herself as Ashley, are actually Amanda. And you, he pointed to the quiet one, are actually Ashley.
Yes, sir, Amanda confirmed. And you've been switched for 5 years? Yes, sir. Steve looked at both women, then at the confused faces of their family members. Why? That's when Amanda's composure began to crack. Because Ashley got into trouble. Bad trouble. And the only way to protect her was for me to become her and let her become me. The silence that followed was heavy with implications. Steve could sense this wasn't just about family protection. This was about something much more serious.
What kind of trouble, Amanda?
Amanda looked at Ashley, who nodded encouragingly. Ashley was convicted of embezzlement from her job at a bank. She served 3 years in prison. When she got out, she couldn't find work, couldn't get an apartment, couldn't even get a credit card because of her record. The studio audience gasped. This wasn't just identity confusion. This was fraud, committed out of sisterly love. So you switched identities, Steve said, beginning to understand. I gave her my social security number, my clean credit, my college degree, my clean background. She became me, and I became her. Ashley, the real Ashley, spoke for the first time since the revelation began. Amanda sacrificed everything for me. She took on my criminal record, my debt, my shame. She gave me her life. Steve Harvey had hosted thousands of shows, met countless families, but this was uncharted territory.
Ashley, what has your life been like for the past 5 years?
I've been working under Amanda's name, living in Amanda's apartment, using Amanda's credit. I got married last year using Amanda's identity. My husband thinks he married Amanda Johnson. The implications of this statement hit everyone in the studio simultaneously. And Amanda, what has your life been like? Amanda's voice was barely a whisper. I've been unemployable because of Ashley's record. I've been living in shelters, working cash jobs, unable to get health care or open a bank account. I've been a ghost for 5 years. The studio was completely silent now. This wasn't just about twins switching places. This was about one sister sacrificing her entire existence to give another sister a second chance. Behind the scenes, a producer made a decision that would define this moment forever. Keep the cameras rolling. Let America witness what sisterly love looks like when it demands everything. Ladies, Steve said, his voice gentle but firm, what you've done is illegal. You understand that, right? Both sisters nodded, but it's also... Steve paused, searching for words. It's also one of the most selfless acts of love I've ever witnessed. Amanda began to cry. Mr. Harvey, I know we broke the law, but I couldn't watch my sister's life be destroyed by one mistake. She was 21 when it happened. She was stupid and desperate, but she wasn't a bad person. Ashley stepped forward, and I can't let Amanda sacrifice any more for me. That's why I told the truth just now. I can't keep living her life while she has nothing. Steve looked at both women, then at their family members who were standing at the podium in shock. What does your family know about this? Nothing, Amanda said. We've been lying to everyone for 5 years. Grandmother Johnson, who had been silent throughout the revelation, suddenly spoke up. I knew. Every head in the studio turned toward her. What do you mean you knew, Grandma? Ashley asked. You think a grandmother can't tell her own granddaughters apart? I've known since the beginning. I just didn't know why. The studio audience murmured with surprise. Grandma, why didn't you say anything? Amanda asked. Because I could see that Ashley was getting her life back together, and I could see that Amanda was sacrificing everything out of love. I figured when you were ready to tell the truth, you would. Steve Harvey felt tears forming in his eyes. This wasn't just about identity theft. This was about a family's unconditional love, even when that love required breaking the law. Ladies, I need to ask you something. What do you want to happen now? Amanda and Ashley looked at each other, having a silent conversation that only twins can have. We want to tell the truth, Ashley said. We want to fix this. But we're scared, Amanda added. Ashley's worked so hard to rebuild. She's Larry's now. She has a job. She has a life. If we switch back, she could lose everything again. Steve walked closer to both women. But Amanda, if you don't switch back, you have nothing. You can't live the rest of your life as a ghost. I know, Amanda whispered, but I don't know how to fix this without destroying Ashley again. That's when Steve Harvey did something unprecedented. He pulled out his cell phone and, without asking permission from producers, started making calls. What are you doing, Mr. Harvey? Ashley asked. I'm calling lawyers. I'm calling advocacy groups. I'm calling people who help families navigate situations exactly like this. The first call was to Sarah Martinez, a criminal justice advocate Steve had met at a charity event. Sarah, this is Steve Harvey. I have twin sisters here who switched identities after one was convicted of embezzlement. They want to come clean, but they need legal guidance. The conversation lasted several minutes, with Steve taking notes on the back of his game cards. The second call was to his own legal team, who specialized in helping people navigate complex legal situations. I need you to connect me with someone who handles identity issues and criminal record expungement. With each phone call, the studio audience grew quieter, more focused. They were witnessing something unprecedented, a television host using his platform to help two sisters navigate the legal consequences of their choices. After the third call, Steve turned to the twins. Ladies, I've got good news. There are legal ways to handle this. Programs for people who want to come forward, advocacy groups that help families in situations like yours. But he wasn't finished. More importantly, there are people who believe that 5 years of living honestly, of rebuilding your life, of proving that people can change, that matters in the eyes of the law. Ashley began to cry. Mr. Harvey, are you saying there might be a way for me to keep my new life while Amanda gets hers back? I'm saying there are people who specialize in exactly this kind of situation. People who believe in second chances and sisterly love. Steve turned to address the studio audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we've witnessed here today is complicated. These women broke the law, but they broke it out of love, out of desperation, out of a belief that family means everything.
The applause that began was tentative at first, then grew stronger as the audience processed what they had witnessed. They also showed us something else, Steve continued. They showed us that truth, even when it's dangerous, even when it's complicated, is always better than living a lie. Amanda stepped forward. Mr. Harvey, what happens now? Now, you two work with the legal advocates I'm connecting you with. You tell your truth to the right people, the people who can help you navigate this situation legally and properly. Steve looked at both women, and you remember something important. Love that requires sacrifice is powerful, but love that allows both people to live authentically is even more powerful. The episode, when it aired 8 weeks later, became a catalyst for discussions about criminal justice reform, second chances, and the complexity of family loyalty. Legal aid organizations reported a significant increase in calls from people in similar situations who had been afraid to come forward. More importantly, Amanda and Ashley's story sparked conversations about how society treats people with criminal records and the desperate measures families take to protect each other. The twins worked with the legal advocate Steve, connected them with. Ashley was able to participate in a restorative justice program that allowed her to maintain her rebuilt life while taking responsibility for her past actions. Amanda was able to reclaim her identity and access the resources she needed to rebuild her own life. 6 months later, both sisters appeared on Steve Harvey's talk show to share their update. Ashley had kept her job and her marriage, with her husband's full support after learning the truth. Amanda had found work as a victim's advocate, helping other people navigate legal system complexities. The most important thing we learned, Amanda said during the interview, is that living someone else's life, even out of love, isn't really living at all. Ashley added, and we learned that truth, even when it's scary, is the foundation of everything real and good. Steve Harvey learned something that day that changed how he approaches every unexpected moment on his stage. He learned that sometimes the most complicated situations are born from the simplest emotions: love, fear, and the desperate desire to protect the people we care about. The switch had lasted 5 years, but the truth set both sisters free to live authentically for the rest of their lives. Steve Harvey still keeps a photo on his desk from their follow-up appearance. It shows both sisters finally able to be themselves, standing with their arms around each other and genuine smiles on their faces. The note attached reads, "Mr. Harvey, thank you for showing us that truth doesn't destroy families, it saves them." The switch ended, but our sisterhood became stronger than ever. Because sometimes love means taking someone's place. Sometimes it means giving up your identity to save theirs. But sometimes the most loving thing you can do is help someone find the courage to live as themselves, even when that truth is complicated and scary. The switch was over, the healing had begun, and two sisters learned that authenticity, even with its challenges, is always better than living someone else's life, no matter how much love motivated the deception. That's not just good television. That's the power of truth to transform even the most complicated situations into opportunities for growth, healing, and genuine connection. Because family love isn't about hiding who you are. It's about supporting each other to become who you're meant to be. And that's a lesson worth more than any game show prize could ever offer.